All right. Thanks, Christy. Yeah, just what we were talking about some of the thoughts and that were coming as far as the what ifs. We're also talking about the feelings of maybe being overwhelmed and then the thoughts of how you might kind of deviate from how you traditionally or would like to kind of react in those situations. And you gave me the specific example that happened just a few moments earlier, which thank you for sharing that as well. Um, but overall, like just the theme of there's a lot on your plate right now. There's a lot going on. The school, the registration. Um, there's also your new job. Yeah, there's a lot to kind of balance at this point. And where we kind of left it last time was also about this kind of lingering feeling that kind of sticks around. And it was in, I don't to use your words, sh around the neighborhood of kind of shame. But I'm just curious, it doesn't have to be specific to that, but I'm just wondering if you can tell me a little more of like, I don't know, the lingering feelings.
Yeah, when I think about like the lingering feelings, when I think about like that shame, I feel like it's like I don't want to say physically, but also like emotionally, just this like heavy feeling of like feeling like down on myself, um, not happy. Like
Hmm.
I know I can like sit here and like talk about it and smile, but it's just like gosh, like not pleased.
Hmm. Hmm. Not pleased. Not feeling that. I'm curious if there's I know we may have kind of touched on this earlier, but other times in your life where you've had that situation before where I know you already recognize that now is probably one of the more intense times in your life for level of stress. But yeah, I'm wondering if there's any other snippets in your life where you've had those kind of situations.
Like where I felt like down on myself or
Yeah, down on yourself, sadness.
sorry you froze there for a second. So just to confirm, you said like when I felt down on
Oh,
myself.
okay. Yeah, in yourself or a level of heaviness or maybe shame. You
Oh,
another word
I,
earlier.
yeah. I'm trying to think. I'm sure that it's come up in my life before. I don't know if I've like blocked out those memories because I didn't want to think of them.
Hmm.
Shame. Um, Oh, like yeah, definitely. I can think of a time. Like just like not performing to the level that I want to perform at, whether it was like in sports or in academics. Like I feel like I've always just had this like bar set in my head, and when I haven't met it, it always has followed with like disappointment and feeling like shameful for not achieving what I had set out and like was it okay to not achieve it? Like yeah, definitely like I'm still alive, but it's still like I was so hard on myself all the time.
Hmm.
Oh,
Can you tell me? Yeah, I'm curious about the like being hard on myself. Uh,
yeah. I feel like like when I think about like my younger self, I had three or I have three older brothers, and I feel like I was always trying to meet or what meet or surpass whatever they had done. So yeah, if I didn't do that, then it was kind of like I don't want one of them to be better than me.
okay. So there was a little bit of conflict, like so sorry, rivalry between like siblings or
Like
not as much of a rivalry, or how would you
I would
define
I
it?
wouldn't even like know if I would call it that because I feel like it wasn't actually like us being like, oh, like I'm better than you. It was more so like me just thinking in my head, like, oh, I want to be better than them. So
Okay.
like
Okay.
it was like all internal and not like it wasn't like an expectation my parents placed on me. It wasn't like they were like,
Mm.
oh, you're so dumb, or like what, well, I'm sure they did say that at some point in my life,
Oh.
but it was all like in my
Mm,
head of, oh, I'm placing this expectation on myself as however old I was, and I feel
mm.
like it's just never dissipated. It's always been present, and not like comparing myself to them anymore, but more so just like that level of expectation is still there.
Yeah. Yeah. And you mentioned expectation a couple times and that it wasn't external, it was more internal expectation. Um, yeah, I'm wondering about right now whether you could speak to that, like the expectation for yourself at this point.
I'm like, when I think about the expectation, I feel like bottom line is I don't fail. Oh my gosh, this sounds so dumb saying that out loud because there's been so many times in my life where I have failed.
Mm,
But it's
mm,
like that like not I feel like it's that not wanting to fail because I know the feelings that follow when I fail to meet my expectations. And I don't want to feel that way.
mm. Okay. So again, you've like made it pretty clear that these expectations are internal, not external, that they're kind of
Mhm.
a bar for that. Do you and that like in reflection, it's also been historical, right? That it's not just at the present moment. And I'm curious about that expectation that you might have at the present moment. Yeah. It sounds like there's quite a bit of expectation put on yourself. Um, yeah. Do you recognize that, or do you feel like it's too much or enough, or
I don't know if it might be too much if it's leading me to feel so overwhelmed. But I also know that when I don't have a lot of things on my plate, I just look for something to add because I feel like I work well under pressure, but maybe I don't if I am feeling this way. Yeah.
well, well, yeah, I mean, you would know if you work well under pressure, right? So I mean, that's not for me to judge in any way. Yeah. Um, but yeah, if you are able to work under pressure, that might encourage you then to like keep the pressure on.
But the thing that just popped in my mind is work under pressure at what cost to like feel crappy and like
Mm,
um if I didn't have as much pressure, would it be easier to perform to the this expectation that I have in my head because I would be able to like dedicate time to fewer things and more efficiently versus um doing everything and having that pressure. Oh gosh. Oh no.
mm. I'm just noticing there's a lot of kind of thoughts going. I mean, what you kind of characterize as like is at what cost was kind of the question that you phrased back to yourself. And
Mhm.
yeah, I'm just noticing there's just like a lot of thoughts going on, and I'm just wondering, like, yeah, your energy kind of changed a little bit when you were kind of mulling that over. I just wonder if you could, yeah, do you have any insights into that as well, or it's just an
Um,
observation?
no, I agree. I felt myself kind of thinking like, oh, like I'm an idiot. And there's that talk
Mm,
again, right? But I was kind of like,
mm,
wow, when you say it out loud, it sounds so stupid. not you, me.
Yeah.
I don't know. How do I feel in this present moment? I feel like I am just too hard on myself.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What would um you've kind of characterized what being hard on yourself is. I'm just wondering, like, is that something that you've said to yourself before, Christy, or being hard on yourself?
I don't know if I have said it to myself. I would say that like my mom probably definitely has identified. Um, I don't know if I don't know if I've ever said it to myself. I feel like I haven't because then I would maybe admit that I am setting like this bar too high, and then maybe that would lead me to think it's not something that I can achieve. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like, but what's that saying? Some people set your bar low so that you exceed your expectations.
Right, shoot for the
Wouldn't that be
stars,
like
or
a
yeah, yeah.
wouldn't that be like a more relaxing way to live?
Hmm. Yeah, and you'll have the answer about that, but yeah, I'm really grateful that you've been able to kind of like flesh out or kind of air out some of these thoughts about the pressure, the expectation, where you've been at as far as how much you expect of yourself through it all. Um, yeah. Um, do you feel it sounds like there's a little you've given me kind of two sides. Wouldn't life be better if I didn't have this expectation, but also like I work well under pressure. And not that we need to have a like a decision or anything about those two kind of factors. Sometimes you can leave like opposing forces like together and recognize that we don't need to know right here, right now, have a decision on them. Um, but I'm curious, like, are you able, yeah, when you're able to leave those two thoughts, are you able to leave those two thoughts here today, the one and the other, and just know that you're somewhere in the middle right now?
I think I can, and I don't think I'm like necessarily even like looking for an answer between the two because I feel like maybe both can exist at the same time and both can be true. And I don't have to like change this expectation that I've set for myself to maybe like feel differently in the present moment. Yeah. So, yeah, no, it just feels good to be able to like um, say some of these thoughts out loud.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for being comfortable enough to share them. I really appreciate it. And if you don't mind, I'm just gonna like maybe give a little bit of a summary of like of it helps me to just kind of summarize where things have gone here today. And so yeah, there's sometimes a lingering feeling of heaviness or feeling down, and other times kind of a desire to perform. You gave the example of like in childhood or maybe adolescence or wherever else, having that bar that that others were not putting on yourself, but you were putting on yourself. There's this level of expectation. Um, and so now you're in the place where there's some high expectations. There's school registration, um, and and then also work as well. Um, and then you're asking that question of yourself, like, um, would it be better to live well and manage that expectation? And you ask the question to yourself, like, at what cost, right? So that, or whether you function better on a heavy workload as well. Um, and so you're kind of left with those kind of questions. And so, although we don't have an answer, a nice tight bow or anything here today, it's thank you for posing those questions. And I hope that you keep asking them as well. So thank you for letting me be a part of this.
Thank you.
Yeah. Did I capture that correctly or anything you want to
Um,
add, please?
No, I feel like that definitely encompasses everything. I know that my thoughts um are thoughts that are just like kind of everywhere, so it's nice to have it like laid out in front of me of okay. So yeah, no, I'm feeling a little bit better right now actually.
Okay. Well, thanks again. And yeah, appreciate it.